As I've said in previous videos, my goal in criticizing Sparking Zero is trying to make either it or future games better. And while it is important to talk about what the game missed on, it's also equally important to talk about what it did well. As I've seen some of the discourse on the game getting overly negative, it seemed a good time to touch up on some of the good things. If you don't, you run the risk of the good things being lost, such as having more than 2 supers, for example. Things don't need to be only good or bad. There's nuance in basically everything, so let's change the focus a bit and look at the good. I talked about this in my review, and at the time I didn't think it needed to be talked about much. I can tell that was wrong, so let me go into more detail about why I think Sparking Zero did such a great job with its music. Now, this might be because I had to go through and make so many movesets, but unlike picking music for previous games, I had so much more choice here. Not just more songs, but also types of songs. I loved having villainous songs for the villain characters, heroic songs for the heroes, songs that were intense, and ones that were more playful. Now, how good they are is going to be up to personal preference, of course, but I did like a good number of the songs here, but it was the variety that really shines for me. So yeah, more of this, please. I don't know if this will even be controversial at all. I mean, most of these are basically the best you can get. Regardless of the attack that follows, just looking at how the attacks are charged is amazing. Even supers that would have been the same thing in previous games are actually different here. Look at these Kamehamehas. It's great to see stuff like this, and it's very much something that we should have in future games. Now, if only we got bigger beams if you fully charge them. Probably best to save that for a wishlist video, though. While it isn't perfect, I do want to bring up how they did improve customization. And it's very important. Giving accessories and AI items their own slots is a big deal, as it opens up slots for items that actually do stuff for you. This is an obvious step up from both BT3 and Raging Blast. While stats are indeed an important part of customizing your character, what they look like is also important. This is why it's so nice to have them with their own category. Also, each item only taking up 1 slot was very nice compared to BT3. It was so easy to just fill up your item slots with just 2 or 3 items. And while there certainly could be a bigger conversation on just how customization should work in future games, there is good stuff here to bring up. Games are such a fun place to explore the world of Dragon Ball. While following the story and stuff is fun, branching out into what ifs is always a treat. And here we got some good ones. Yes, they should have had the characters be playable, but this is certainly something we need more of. Yeah, the concept of what ifs isn't unique to Sparking Zero, but I don't see how bringing this up is really going to hurt things. I always want this to be expanded in games more, but that might be a topic for another time. Still, Sparking Zero did a good job on the scenarios, we just needed the character unlocks. Having unique banter before and after a fight is a fun little detail that always makes me happy to see, and Sparking Zero has so many of them. The missions they give you to see them really sells just how many of these things there are short. Finding all of them would be a project with how many characters there are too. Over 16,000 possible combinations with just the base game roster. A fun one, though, is Hercule vs. Hercule here.
To copy my appearance so closely, do you hope to be an apprentice? I am the world champion, the one and only.
So while I did get frustrated at trying to avoid these interactions while making movesets, it was also fun to see just how many there were. Now, this is just a really cool and fun thing to do. Visually fun, it makes you feel like you just did something really badass. And sure, it's easier to just move out of the way instead of using resources to avoid an attack, but this is far cooler. So yeah, the mechanic does need a bit of work, but it very much should get that work and stick around. Maybe have it be a high risk, high reward and give you some blast stocks back if you basically parry the beam. Now, this was sort of a thing before, but not to this degree, and it's a nice way of having attacks start. Now you just have far more logical way of starting certain attacks. The only issue I have with these is they weren't used enough. Like, you had the perfect setup for Sword Trunks using a burning attack to start his ultimate. This is basically just another way of starting a cutscene for an attack, but I don't see a problem with that. A new way to start an attack opens up all new kinds of animations and fun, and that just sounds great. Struggles, clashes, impacts, whatever you want to call them, are fun to do. And this has been something that people have been wanting for a long time now. So glad that they are finally here. And they are fun to do, even if having both people do a throw at the same time can be a bit awkward to happen. But hey, maybe the fact they don't happen often makes them more exciting when they do? Still, this is also something I want to see make its way into future games. Now, this is certainly something people who have played a lot of the older games will like. The angle you can fire beams at is way bigger than before. See, in the older games, you basically had a cone in front of your characters that would be the only angle you could fire a beam at, which meant someone could be in an odd position and you just whiff the attack due to not being able to actually aim at them. Now you can fire that thing wherever. You aren't restricted to just a flat plane, you can tilt. The whole curving beam thing is so the beam will come face on so that it can allow for deflections. So this is very much welcome as you no longer, or at least not as often, whiff due to an opponent being at a weird angle. So here's a short list of the things that jumped out at me. There are probably more, but this should serve as a pretty good list. These are things I want to keep around for whatever happens in this series in the future. Again, my goal is to have future games be better, and part of that is not throwing away good things just because some things in a game weren't done well. It's okay to be positive sometimes. At the end of the day, we all want awesome Dragon Ball games, so let's just focus on that goal.